Welcome to the budgeting and bidding section of the course. This is a super important one because it informs how much money you're going to spend, how much per click, how much per campaign, which is going to really allow you to have a profitable return on your investment, which is what this is all about. So let's jump right into it. So budgeting and bidding, here's what we're going to cover. We're going to cover budgeting and bidding in Google Ads, of course, effective budgeting and bidding, budgeting strategies, bidding strategies, and we'll wrap up with some best practices at the end. So as always, go to coryprince.ca/newsletter for important updates regarding the course. Follow me on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok for exclusive content at Cory Prince Google Ads. And please, please, please share the course. If you have any other business owners, any other friends who are content creators who want more activity on their platform or they want more activity on their website, we can start a revolution here. We can really help change people's lives. So warning, this is the most important video in the course at the current time. Watch the entire video, don't skip and don't fast forward, otherwise you'll miss stuff. Pro tip, as always, watch the video in double speed if you'd like to save some time. And let's get started. So budgeting and bidding in Google Ads. So budgeting is allocating and controlling your advertising spend. So whether that's how much you're going to spend per month, how much you're going to spend per day, figuring out where you're going to spend it, why you're going to spend it there, and what the overall goal or intention is. Bidding is setting bids to optimize ad performance and achieve campaign goals. So a bid is how much you're willing to pay per client, how much you're willing to pay per click, how much you're willing to pay per X number of thousands of impressions. Whatever you determine is going to be the factor that you're trying to drive forward in your business, that will be up to you. So effective budgeting and bidding, we want to maximize ROI or return on investment. Efficiently use your budget to get the best return on investment. That's one of the biggest things I want you to take away from this course is this isn't about spending money on advertising. This is about generating money and net profit in the business. Control costs. We're going to prevent overspending and manage financial resources effectively. Also super, super important. If you spend too much and you don't bring enough in, it's a net loss. That is not what you're in business to do, I would assume. So improve performance. We're going to align budget and bids with campaign objectives for better results. That pretty much says it all. Budgeting strategies is next. We're going to set realistic budgets, base budgets on marketing goals and available resources. So you have to have a real good understanding of how much you have to spend, not just start spending, but think, okay, in the next 2 months or 3 months, how much can I afford to spend on advertising? Assuming you're not going to get a direct return on it very quickly necessarily. It depends on what your objective is. If you get e-commerce sales online, you'll be able to tell fairly quickly whether it's working or whether it's not working because you'll have sales attributable to the amount that you're spending. If you have a longer sales cycle for whatever your particular service or product is that you sell, for instance, my real estate company who has a very long sales cycle, it's often years from the time they sign up. You can't attribute a sale to them at the time they sign up. You have to attribute a sale to them maybe 18 months or 24 months down the road. So that's something you have to think about. Allocate wisely, distribute budget across campaigns and ad groups based on performance and strategic importance. So I believe in testing, having a theory on what you think is going to work and then testing it over and over and over. And once you find something that works, start diverting resources away from the underperforming campaigns and ad groups and start diverting them and funneling them to the ones that you know are performing and getting the result that you want, and that will scale your success. So seasonal adjustments, you want to consider modifying budgets during peak seasons or special promotions, depending on your industry and depending on what your goal is. Next up, we're going to do bidding strategies. So one is automated bidding. Use Google's automated bidding strategies. Example, target CPA, maximize conversions to optimize bids. So it really depends on what your objective is going to be and what your goal is going to be. Automated bidding can be very, very good. Typically what you'll want to do is you want to start with either manual bidding or a variation of automated bidding that we'll get into a little bit later. But automated bidding can do well if you're not super experienced as well. Manual bidding, which is what I've done most of in the early part of my career, it allowed me to maintain control by setting bids myself based on performance data. So what I found is that if you give the keys to the kingdom to Google, they're more than happy to take the money and get you exposure, but it doesn't necessarily attribute into money in your jeans or revenue in your business. Unless you have really, really deep pockets, those lessons can be expensive. So we'll do a combination of manual and automated as we continue through the course. And it'll give you a real good idea of how to be most successful and just how to have an effective campaign. So adjust based on data, not based on how we feel it should perform or how we think it should perform, but on how it actually performs in a big enough sample size that we have statistical significance. So continuously review and adjust bids to improve campaign efficiency and effectiveness. So what I mean by statistical significance is, let's say 10 people click the ad and 2 of them make purchases. You're like, wow, my conversion percentage is 20%. You don't expect that to scale. If you have 10,000 people click that, you're not likely to have 2,000 purchases if you only have 10 or 2 out of 10. That might scale like that, and that would be freaking incredible, but don't expect it. You need enough of a data set, enough results and testing to really understand what's going to happen as you continue to do these campaigns. So we're going to go into the Google Ads platform and look at bidding strategies in there. So we're going to go to yesterday. This is actually a campaign that I'm running currently. Let's get rid of this. So this is a campaign that I'm running currently, and it's directing people searching on Google to my school, SKOOL community, about Google Ads, which is where you are, if you're watching this video probably. So yesterday we had $6.81 spent, 55 clicks. Average cost per click was 12 cents. We got 6 conversions, meaning it was $1.14 per conversion. And conversion in this case is somebody signing up for the community and actually becoming a member. So pretty good results. What you want to do if you want to adjust your bid, you can do it at a campaign level, which is what we're going to go into now. So you go into the campaign right here, click campaign, select the campaign that you want, which is this one, school, and the little gear icon right here. You click on that, and it's going to open up the campaign settings. This will take a second. There we go. So we're going to scroll down into the campaign settings, and we're going to look at bidding. So this one right here. So the campaign bidding strategy I'm using here is called maximize clicks. It's not maximizing for conversions. It's maximizing for the maximum amount of clicks on the ad to go to the landing page. So the reason I'm doing that is I'm getting data on this particular campaign, and I haven't done it before. So I don't have tons of conversions for Google to use to inform the kinds of people that are likely to sign up and actually convert. So I want as many people to click it as possible to give me some data, to give me some idea of what kind of people are the ones to target. So the different bidding strategies that are available is clicks is the one I'm using right now. When you do that, you can actually set a maximum cost per click bid limit, meaning let's say I'm willing to pay $5 or $2 or $1, whatever the amount is per click. You can do that, but keep in mind, if you do that, you can affect your rank in the auction because the amount that you're willing to spend per click is a huge determining factor of your quality score, which will rank you in the auction in real time. So for my purposes, I'm not going to put it there. If you do want to put it there, feel free. If you're not getting traffic and impressions on the ad, then you might want to remove that or increase it. But if you put it at the limit that you're comfortable with and you're still getting impressions, then you're okay. So I'm not going to have that. I'm going to go to conversions. So here, if we set it for bidding for conversions, you can do a cost per action, which is like a cost per acquisition or a cost per lead. So $6 would be the one that they're recommending there. You can go lower, you can go higher, whatever it is. What I tend to do if I'm going to do a target CPA here is I'm going to ensure to have an amount that is more than the target CPA that I'm already getting. So you noticed yesterday I got $1.14 per lead. I wouldn't put 50 cents in here because it might stop serving my ads. $6 is basically what they're recommending for everything to continue as is, which is what I would probably do. I'd probably do 6 or 5 or 2 or something like that. It's much easier to start high and then continue to get the results and then scale it down $1 or 2 or 3 at a time, as opposed to them stop showing your ads and you're not performing well in the auction and having to build it back up. That tends to be more expensive in my experience. So next up is conversion value. So conversion value is setting a target return on ad spend, or ROAS. So let's say I spent $100 on this campaign and I want to have 100% return. So I would be $100, which would turn into another $100. That would be a target on return on an ad spend of 100%. So this is one you can play around with. You need conversion data to be able to select either conversions or conversion value here. So you'll want to, if you're new in ads, Google Ads, you're going to have to get conversion data, probably using maximize clicks to begin with. And then as you get conversions and everything set up properly, you can determine if you want to change your bidding to something like this. Clicks is the one that I'm on right now. Impression share is another one. So instead of focusing on the number of clicks I'm getting or the number of conversions or a return on my advertising spend, I can say I want to be at the top of the page this percentage of the time, and this is the maximum amount per click that I'm willing to pay. I personally don't use this one because I don't care what my impression share is. I care what my cost per conversion or my cost per acquisition or client. That's probably the most important thing to me. So that gives you an idea of bidding in here a little bit. I'm going to put it back to clicks. We're going to leave it like this, or you can select a strategy directly, which it says not recommended. I wouldn't do anything until you get a real good feel for Google that Google doesn't necessarily recommend, at least for the short term. Go with simplicity and get some data and get some results. Thinking about the way you think it's going to perform compared to the way it performs can often be very different. So you need to test it out and see what's working and see what's not working. Here we are on best practices. I'll give you a little bit of a run through there on bidding. That'll get your feet wet, get you to understand how bidding works on an individual campaign. So best practices. To monitor performance, you want to regularly track key metrics like cost per click, cost per action or acquisition, and return on advertising spend. These are built into Google Ads, so you'll be able to view them pretty easily. If you can't see them, there's a way to modify the columns in the reporting and the campaigns function so they show up. So we'll go through that in later modules as well. To assess budget and bid effectiveness. You really need to know what your KPIs, your key performance indicators are, and you need enough data and enough impressions and clicks and conversions, if that's what you're tracking, to really understand if it's actually working properly and you want to put more money into it. A/B testing, experiment with different budgets and bidding strategies to find the best fit. A/B split testing is a foundational principle in advertising, in my opinion. So A/B testing on bidding strategies or budget strategies just means you try one thing for X amount of time and you track it, and then you try another thing for X amount of time and you track it, and you compare the results for what you're trying to achieve or what goal you're trying or objective you're trying to achieve. So, and then when you find one that works, you start doing that, and then you test it against something else, thinking that maybe it will do better. I do that with ad copy on ads. One ad will say this, one ad will say this, and I run them 50-50 each time. So each next person sees an alternating ad. And then the one that converts or achieves the objective that I want is the one that I continue to use. I do it for landing pages on the website too. Every second person sees a slightly different page, whether it's the button color or the call to action on the button or the wording on the very top of the page. And then I'm continually seeing which one is optimized and performing better. And then when the one that performs better has enough traction or traffic on it, and I believe statistically that that's the better performing one, I'll delete the one that is not performing, and I'll replicate and duplicate the one that is performing, and then change one variable. Not a bunch of variables, but one variable. Once we isolate that one variable, then we know that's the thing that's causing the performance or underperformance. So A/B split testing is massive. Stay flexible. Be prepared to adjust budgets and bids in response to performance data and market conditions. Don't be loyal to any particular strategy just because you think it's more effective. Go based on the data of what is actually more effective. Look into what is actually happening over a large enough sample size, and then double, triple, and quadruple down on the things that are bringing you the result that you want. So as always, coryprince.ca/newsletter. Please make sure to follow and put your email in there for important updates regarding this course. And the summary is the importance of budgeting and bidding is absolutely essential for maximizing return on investment, controlling costs, and improving campaign performance. You need to be really focused on knowing how much money you have to spend and how you're spending it. You're probably going to be in Google Ads a lot more frequently in the beginning than once you get a feel for it. In the beginning, I was in there all the time, continually looking at stuff, sometimes changing things, getting enough data, and then making a decision based on performance. As I went on in my career using it for my real estate business, there was a time I wasn't even in there every month because it was just working. But it took many, many years to get to that point. Strategic budgeting. Set realistic budgets based on goals and resources. Allocate wisely across campaigns and consider adjusting seasonally. So depending on your industry and depending on what your objective is, consider adjusting that based on the time of year. Like for instance, if you're a moving company during the summer, maybe more people are moving then. Just something to consider, and you can adjust those either through rules or through different mechanisms within Google Ads. Bidding strategies. Use automated and manual bidding to optimize performance. Continuously review and adjust bids based on performance data. So I keep harping performance and I keep harping on data, but really the most valuable part, or one of the most valuable parts of Google Ads, is you have performance data based on what you've actually achieved. Not saying, hey, I'm going to put a bus bench, or I'm going to put a billboard out and spending 10 grand on it, and then not knowing if you attribute any sales to it. In Google Ads, you can actually see granularly down to the keyword phrase which one resulted in revenue for your business and how. And then you can stop spending money on the ones that aren't performing and double, triple, quadruple down on the ones that are performing, which will increase your net profitability over time. Best practices. Regularly monitor key metrics such as cost per click, cost per action or acquisition, return on ad spend, and conduct A/B testing for optimal budget and bidding strategies. Super important. You got to test, you got to test, you got to test, and then with what works, you continually to adjust and optimize based on that. Please go to testimonial.coryprince.ca. Leave a testimonial, a video one, and have a chance to win special prizes. I appreciate any effort you put into there. If you feel like I'm giving you value, please pay it back. I really put my heart and soul into these videos, and I want to really share the things that I've learned over the decade plus that I've been doing this. I like to end on a quote typically. So, when prosperity comes, do not use all of it, by Confucius. So if you're just getting started in Google Ads, or if you've been doing it for a period of time and you're not getting the results that you want, don't think that that can't change. Believe that you can be successful at it, and believe that you can actually get leads and get these actions and these goals achieved for an amount that's actually going to make sense for you, your business, and your family. You can do it. You just got to keep going and keep putting in the work. So that's it. It's time to get to work. Go back and review any of the videos previously in this course if you're not completely clear on something, and we'll hit the ground running. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.